Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? So, for past few weeks, I was interviewing a lot of guys, and mostly on manual testing and automation. But recently, I started interviewing some interns. So I thought instead of asking questions on manual testing and automation, I should ask them some. I should give them some scenarios, and I should evaluate them based on their thinking process and like what kind of questions they're asking on that scenario. So I assume that they don't have any knowledge on manual testing. They don't have any knowledge on automation testing. They don't know any programming. They're just fresh guys. But I wanted to test them on their thought process. Okay. So I designed a scenario-driven question. So I will take you through this. So stick with me for some time, and in another 2 minutes, I will be explaining the scenario. Then we'll go through the questions, and then we'll see like what kind of answers they have given, and then you will have some takeaways. So I think you're going to enjoy this. So stick to the end, and okay, let's start. I will share my screen. Okay. So yeah. This is the objective, right? The understanding candidates' thinking process, whether they have attention to detail or not, and what kind of question they're asking. Okay, so that's what I wanted to test it out. So next 2 minutes, I will give it I will explain the scenario, what I have explained to the candidates also. Then I will show you the Google questionnaire which I shared to them, and what kind of response I got from them. Okay, okay. So let me explain this scenario. So there is software called, let's say, XYZ software, and which can create session. So, and okay, what is the main thing? I just will explain this. There is something called OBS. Let me add here OBS. Using this, I will be broadcasting software, which will be sending a video stream to XYZ software, and XYZ from XYZ software, it will provide some output stream, and normal users can view that. So we are doing live streaming using OBS. We'll be pumping that video through XYZ, and using VLC or some web browser, viewer can watch that live stream. So using XYZ software, we are going to create session. When we are going to create session, we are going to pick up the input. We can from the drop down select the input. This kind of input we want, right? Attempt pull, push, attempt paste, push, and pull. 4 types of structure. And output, this kind of output we are going to add, right? Push, pull, and there is one HLS extra thing is there. Okay. So once that session is created, you will get 2 endpoints, input URL and output URL. And using OBS broadcast, you will pumping the video to the input endpoint, and you will be able to watch that video using that output endpoint. And there will be some delay from broadcast and to the end user. So when it's broadcasting, and at the time at which end user will be viewing the video, viewing that particular screen, it will be viewing with that particular image or whatever. Like there will be some delay. Okay. So let's see how it look like. This is the a broadcasting scenario. Background, you can see that OBS, and user is viewing it on the VLC player. So OBS is broadcasting, background OBS is broadcasting, and user is able to view it using this VLC player. So broadcasting is going on in the background, and user is able to view it on the VLC player. And there is some delay. You can see that this is the background of OBS is using broadcasting OBS, and user is viewing that video in VLC player. Okay. So let's see now. So as I said, like using this XYZ software, I'll be creating a session. I will select this input mode, RTMP, push, pull, etc. Okay, let me wait for a few seconds. I have to remove this one. Yeah, sorry for this. Okay, okay. And then I created a session, and once session is created, I get 2 endpoints: input endpoint, output endpoint. And using VLC OBS player, I'm pumping that video, any video, to the input endpoint, and then I'm able to view that using VLC player. The video I just showed you, right, like sometime back. This is the one, right? In OBS, I'm pumping the video, and VLC player, I'm being it. Okay. So now let's go to the question. So this is like a question, name, mobile number. Like I have shared this document to the interns and for the candidates, they have to fill up email ID and all these details. So we will be going through all these questions. I will just read it out. So first question was, what do you understand by latency? Second question was, how will you measure latency, and can you think of any experiment by which you will measure latency? Third question, tester provided following report to you, and after looking at the report, what question will you ask the tester? So this is the report you got, and what is the question you will ask to the tester? Fourth question is, what is the difference? It's just a fun question, like 2 minute 18 seconds minus 1 minute 57 seconds. What is the difference? This is the third question actually. Fourth question is, input of XYZ system takes attempt pull, push, push, and output can be pull, push, and these 5 options. So what are the minimum number you will test to ensure that all combination works fine? And what is the maximum number of combination you can test? And the last one is, you executed following Docker command and you got following message. Guess what is the problem? If you have to run this command, what will be the approach? What and how explain in detail. So the like you run some Docker command, Docker run -dp, and you got some error response, conflict the container name, it's already used by container something like that. So what will be the approach? Okay, so let's see. So first question was, what do you understand by latency? And let's see what kind of responses we got from the candidate. So we got a lot of responses. I picked up some of the responses. So one guy said, the process between sender and receiver, but there is a delay in performance of video. No, it's not clear. Okay, next one is, the latency is the delay from input into a system to desired outcome in the telecommunication. Low latency associated with a positive user experience, blah blah blah, associated with poor UX. So basically, it's a out of context actually, right? Like whatever context I have explained, whatever scenario I have given to them, they just might have Googled it. Whatever they found in the Google, they just copy pasted. UI latency, that is a different thing, but this kind of out of context actually. Okay. Latency refers to delay in execution of a process, that is transfer of data packets from one network to another. Okay, it's okay. Kind of okay. Then latency, the delay of a user action and the web application response to that action. Latency refers to a delay in user action of a process, that is transfer of data packets from one network to another. It's not so good, but it's okay. Okay, so this is the response I got. This response looks good. It seems to be the difference of time between the broadcaster broadcasting and the user doing the same thing. Broadcaster broadcasting and the user doing the same thing. Like, what is the difference? In your explanation, we could see that video is having some delay from input OBC to the output, like VLC browser. That delay is known as latency. Good. So this is a good answer, right? So I understand that the candidate able to understand what I explained to him. So this answer looks good. Second one is the question 2. How will you measure latency? Can you think of an experiment by which you will measure latency? So the answers I got, that we can measure latency by taking RRT consideration. We can consider video streaming platform like Zoom. There will always I say he just Googled it and copy pasted some answer. Second one, latency is nothing but taken by a packet to reach transmit. I can simply explain by sending a message to a friend and see how fast it reaches to him in case of a smart device. Okay, but how will you see the difference? Like, okay, you call your friend and you see, okay, I'm broadcasting, but how will you measure the difference? It's not clear. Latency can be measured, data travels to the client and returns to the server. Example, that I'm going to log into my personal computer via VPN, the response time taken for logging. This is also not clear actually, like response is not clear. Let's see another answer. Yeah, this answer looks good. This candidate is saying that broadcast a video of a timer which shows time ticking. So broadcast some video like is a stop, means maybe timer or some clock where it's showing time, or some it's some timer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 it's showing, and you are able to see it on the VLC plan. See the difference, and so we can measure it by noting the time it is shown on the server side and subtracting it with the noted time on the user side. So this looks good. This is a pretty good experiment by which you can measure the latency. So this answer I liked it. Okay, so let's move to the question 3. Tester provided following report to you, and after looking at the report, what question will you ask to a tester? So there is some input protocol your tester has selected and did some testing and found the latency of this 1 minute, 2 seconds, 10 seconds, 1 minute, 10 seconds, 58 and so there are different this kind of a reply got. Some of them did not reply at all. One guy said to check for a particular model which is causing delay. Okay, but basically okay. So why it's causing delay? You wanted to know and you wanted to maybe check with the developer. But what else? What other questions you will ask by just looking at the report? Because you wanted to ask the question to a tester here. There's a difference in time between secure streaming and not secure streaming. Some is trespassing the streaming. Okay, I think PS50. It's not that clear what exactly you want to mean, but okay, let's see. Few more answer. Okay, this answer, this candidate's response looks good. He's saying, is this report accurate? The latency which you measure are accurate or not? Because 3 of them around 1 minute and 4th one is so less. Yeah, like 3 of them is around 1 minute, like 1 minute, 2 seconds, 1 minute, 10 seconds, or 58 seconds. The 4th one is very less, right? 8 seconds. So is it accurate? So this is the right question actually, right question he is asking. And why so much latency for other 3? Like a user won't accept, right? So maybe why there are so much latency in other 3. So he's asking right questions here, like why there is like the 4th one is so less. Is it accurate? Is there any mistakes in testing, right? So this answer looks good. Now let's go to the question 4. This is a fun question. What is what is the difference between 2 minute 18 seconds minus 1 minute 550 seconds 57 seconds? So 55% answers are incorrect. Some of them answer none of the above, so that is incorrect answer. I think 1 or 2 answer 1 minute 19 seconds. I don't know 1 minute 19 seconds why they have answered 1 minute 19 seconds here, but that's strange. But 95% of them answered correctly. Answer is 21 seconds. Okay, let's go to the next question. Input of XYZ system takes RTMP pull push, RTMP pull push, and output can be pull push, RTMP push pull, and that HLS. Total 5. Input 4 and output 5. There are 5 output options. You can select and create the session. So what is the minimum number of tests to ensure all combinations work fine? What is the max? What is the maximum number of test cases you will test? So one person said 12. He didn't say whether it's a minimum or maximum. So I don't know whether it's a minimum or maximum. Other person said 8. He also did not mention minimum or maximum. Another person said, another candidate said like minimum equal to 1, maximum equal to 4 into 4 into 4 into 4, 256 times. I'm not sure like how he came to this number, this maximum thing. Minimum also not sure. There is no explanation. Another candidate said minimum number is 2 and maximum number is 4. That also not sure. Doesn't look like there's no explanation. Okay, let's see this guy's answer. This guy's answer looks good. Like he said input options are 4, output options are 5. So minimum test cases he will test 4 input, 4 plus 5, 4 plus 5, 9, and maximum test cases 4 into 5, 20. Yeah, the way he approached his thought process, I liked it. So this looks good. But what is the correct answer? What do you think? And do you think this requirement is clear? Do you need to ask any questions, right? Because for example, the input I can select 1, but output I can select many also, right? Is it 1:1, 1:many? So what are the other questions you're going to ask here? And what do you think? Like what will be the minimum and maximum numbers of test cases you can do? Okay, so please write in the comment section, and in that YouTube video, go to the comment section, write your what you think about, what's your thought on this, and what are the questions you will ask. Maybe you will ask some more questions Okay, on this requirement to get more clarity, and then you'll be able to come up with the total number of test cases. So think all the scenarios, share your thoughts. Let's go to the last one, question 5. Question 5 says you executed a Docker command and got following message. Guess what is the problem? If you have to run this command, what will be the output? So Docker run -dp, some port number, name, ngx, rtmp, and triangle nginx ndp. Error message from daemon conflict. The container name is already used by container. So here I'm sure that a lot of people googled it, and so one guy did not, like couple of guys did not reply at all, and another guy, like a few candidates, like he just copy pasted what is Docker. Like Docker is open platform developing, shipping, running application, blah blah blah. What Docker does, and Docker take advantage of Docker methodologies for shipping, testing, and deploying code quickly. Okay, so that's not the right answer. So he just Google it and copy pasted what is Docker. Another guy said portable deployment across machines, Docker defensive format for. So he didn't read this actually, because answer is already there actually, right? So it's already there. So let's see. Then final one. He says that check if the existing container is required. If not, delete the existing container and run this command again. And if the existing container is required, then rename the container and run the command. So that's the thing, actually, right? Like if the question is so basically my idea is like you Google it, that's fine, but whether you're able to grasp it, like what are the two things you have to do? First thing, okay, if you are already existing container is required, then you have to give some new name and then run the thing again, command again. Otherwise, you remove the existing container and run it again. These are the two options. So that's fine. So like whether it, like we all means when we do Google, we always get answer. But thing is whether you are able to grasp it and get the key points or not. That is also important. So share your thoughts, share your ideas, like how did you like this process, and let me know your feedback. And if you like it, please go and subscribe. I will come up with more such videos, okay, on QA interviews, and yeah, and share with your friends, okay. And please like it and subscribe to the channel.